Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Cmoore-Books. I'm Colleen. So as you saw by the video, we're going to go over my 20 worst books from 2022. So I'm going to try and not get too fired up. I know there's one in particular that I'm going to go on a major rant about. I'm just going to warn you now. Um, it's one of the few reviews that I left a review on Goodreads about. I try to not leave like nasty reviews on Goodreads or like leave reviews on Goodreads because I try not to like it's good to leave reviews, but like yeah, I just try not to get nasty. But like I just couldn't not for this one. I was like, no, I must do it. So um yes, I am sharing a PowerPoint. I am that person. Like I am still in college. Although in all fairness, I just finished my master's last year. So, in library science. So, yeah. So my 20 worst books of 2022. Let us starts the madness. If it'll let me. So, for this one, Almost Maine. So I was so excited for this book. Apparently it was a play originally. I did not know this at all until after I started it. Uh, it was the strangest thing one of the strangest things I've ever read in my life. Um, like I just couldn't get past how strange it was. I was like, what is happening right now? Like the dialogue was awkward, the writing was terrible. Like, um, like I just started like skimming just to get to see where it would end, and I just couldn't get past it, and I just had to leave it a 1-star review. Like a 1 star. Like I just couldn't not. And like the cover's so cute. Like it sounded so great. And it was just so bad. So yeah, that's Almost Maine. Um yeah. Oh, so bad. Okay. I might get some heat for this one. So The Bear and the Nightingale. This was for a book club that I was in. Um I tried so hard to like this. I remember someone a few years ago recommending this to me. It was like her favorite book. And I was like, it had been on my TBR for years. And finally someone picked it for a book club and I was like, yeah, this is perfect. Like I have to read it now. Like, and I read books for book clubs. Like I'm never want to be that person that doesn't read the book for the book club. Um, because I know many people in the book club that I was in that are that person, and I refuse to be that person. Um, so it took everything that I had to finish this book. I was just so bored. It just seemed like it was dragging on forever. Um, it was just a really drawn out story. Like I wanted some more action. Um, yeah. Like, and I normally don't speed up audiobooks too much, and I sped this thing up really fast to get it over with because I just wanted it to end. Um, and someone else in the book club had read the final 2 books and was like, yeah, don't continue the series. And I'm like, and she gave like a synopsis of the next book, and I'm like, normally I would feel the need to finish it on my own terms. And I was like, you know what? I feel fine with that. It's because the Red Queen series had I'll probably get flack for this too, because the Red Queen series had already beaten all the strength I had out in me to complete really series that I don't like. So yeah. So this will probably be a flashback for all of you, the series of unfortunate events series books. So this is apparently like the Beatrice letters is supposed to give you like information like to about that's linked to the 13th book and give you information that you need that'll reveal secrets. And I read it and I'm like, I got nothing out of this. I was like, it looked cool. I'm like, what were we supposed to do with this? I'm like, remember the last book? It really wasn't that unfortunate. I'm like, it actually ended pretty happy. Um, in any event, I was like, yeah, it was major letdown. I was really excited for this. Like, I had been waiting. Like, I wanted some answers after that last book, and this was just not it. So, so this was another book club read. Um, for me, Bel Canto. So I read this after the book club. I went to the book club just to see how it was, and I had to speed. I just started skimming, and I just learned that Ann Patchett's writing is just not for me. Um, it was just not my jam. Like, it's about this opera singer that comes to this like dinner party. Then there's like this rebel group that comes and takes over this house, like the president of, oh gosh, was it, I can't remember which country it was it Argentina? I know it's in South America. Sorry, I have a map of the world on my wall. That's what I'm looking over at the wall. Yeah, I can't remember if it was Argentina or Colombia, or no. I can't remember which country it was. Um, the president wasn't there that night, and yeah, it was just really strange. Um, and yeah, so I gave it 2 stars. I don't remember why I gave it 2 stars, but I might have been being really nice that day. So I gave it 2 stars. And then the cloud book. So if you watch my stats video, this was the book that Goodreads thinks is 1 page. It's not. So I just thought the story was really poorly written. The graphics were terrible. I really usually like Tommy DiPaolo's like writing, and I've liked some of her other graphics, but this one was just plain weird. And it's a Reading Rainbow book. I was just really disappointed. So I just had to give it 2 stars. So okay. So I saw this at my local library. This is when I was in my internship, doing my internship last year, and I thought this was gonna be like some tips for um like immigrants coming into this country, and like things, and how people this can help people, to help immigrants and their experiences to be better, and like how we can join together to be better Americans and all that kind of things. It just ended up being like a memoir. Um, and so it just wasn't what I thought it was supposed to be. Um, so it was just, yeah, I was just really disappointed. Um, and just the author just really turned me off. Um, yeah, just his writing style and his attitude just really turned me off. Like, he goes through some really tough things, but there was just something in the writing and stuff that, I don't know. It it just didn't sit well with me. So yeah, I gave it 2 stars. So The Greatest Thing by Sarah Winifred Searle. Um, I just didn't really like the story. I didn't think it was well plotted out. So this is a graphic novel. Um, I read this during whatever thon. I did read this at like 11 o'clock at night. It was close to midnight. That also might be why I got a poor rating. I was really tired. Um, and yeah, that might have been a casualty of my tiredness. So you might love it. I might have a different opinion reading it back now. So if I ever have a time for a reread. Uh, The Gunslinger by Stephen King. This was a book club pick for my work book club. Um, this is one of the strangest books I have ever read in my life. Um, this felt like I've never done drugs ever. I've never drank, ever, but this is like reading this book is what I imagine like an acid trip feels like. It was just the strangest experience. And like I sped up the audiobook just to make it go faster. I was like, this needs to end. I need this to be over. Um, I don't think I'll be continuing with the series. I was like, this was my first Stephen King book. And I'm still debating on asking my coworker, I'm like, can you just tell me what happens in the rest of the series? And to the point, and I'm also curious, I'm like, do I really care that much? I don't know. So still debating on that. Okay, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Strangely, another book club pick. This is a book club I went to one time. I found it through this group called Meetup. Uh, so I just got immediately turned off by this book. So this is written back in like the 50s or the 60s. And so the main character was helping to take care of her mother and like before she died, and she was just talking about how much of a burden that was, and how it was just so awful and like how she just didn't like it. And so I helped to take care of my grandmother when she in the last year of her life she had Parkinson's and with dementia. And I was just immediately upset by that. I was like, how dare you? I was like, I would give anything for to have more time with my grandma. Like, it was hard taking care of her, but like I would give anything to have more time with her in my life. So I just ended up like skimming the book and reading to the end, skimming the end, and then like reading some synopsis at the end, some synopsis a synopsis online for the book club, because I was like, I was just so upset by that at the beginning. I was like, I just immediately detested the main character because of that. So that's just a personal thing for me. I'm sure other people like this book, but that for me, it just made me so upset. So, and then this I picked because of a TBR ring toss that I did. This was a book that was set in South America. Here Where the Sunbeams Are Green by Helen Phillips. So I normally love middle grade books. But this one, sorry, my leg is cramping. Um, this one was just so strange. The main character used all these weird acronyms, and like the writing was just so like even more juvenile than normal for like a middle grade. Like it's like she was like a 5-year-old, but she's like 12. It's like her younger sister was more mature than her. So it was just odd. And like I just started like skimming the story. And then like I read the end and I was like, what is happening here? Um, like it was really weird. It was such a weird story. Involves like a bird and like eternal life and living forever, and it was weird. It was so weird. The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. Um, this is also a book club pick. Are you seeing a theme here? Um, so I did like parts of this book. Um, uh, I just felt like it drug on. It was just a little too boring for me. Um, like, yeah, like I was just grossed out by a lot of parts. I wasn't really scared. I was just really grossed out. And then just felt like the book was never gonna end. I felt like I was reading it for like 10 years. I was like, is this not over yet? It's like, come on, are we not done? Can we please be done? Come on, please. I was so happy when I finished this. Yeah, I was so glad. Okay, so house rules. This is also a book club pick. Um, so this one's maybe so this is also a personal thing. So this main character had the boy in the story, he is on the the spectrum. Um, and I was just immediately turned off. Like, uh, they were just the Jodi Picoult was just using every stereotype for someone on the spectrum, but to like the extreme and something that would never make sense, like at all. Like, for example, like the person, like the character was like would only use certain like color silverware or like utensils and cups and stuff on certain days of the week. Like that's not a thing. Like it would be only like one color. Like it just bothered me so much. Like how like inaccurate and how like extreme she took everything. Like yeah, it just really bothered me because like I have several people in my life that are on the spectrum and I was like yeah, and just the way like her language that she used. I know this was written, I think this was written back in like maybe like 2010. And I know like new research has come out and stuff, but yeah, I just wish, yeah, it just didn't sit well with me. So like I did some skimming and just moved along. So yeah, 1 star. Another picture book, Little Cloud by Eric Carlisle. I don't really like his books. I just thought the pictures were poor. Just look at that cover. Yeah, did not like the art style in this book at all. It's not good. Okay, this sounded like such a cool story. Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. Like, who would not love a 24-hour bookstore? Um, start out great start. There's like hidden codes in the books. It was really awesome. And then it took a really strange turn, which I'm not going to tell you in case you want to read it. But I was like, it was like out of left field. And I was like, where did that come from? And then I just gave it 3 stars. I was like, okay. Like it wasn't enough to like give it like 2 or like a 1 star because like I did find some enjoyment, but I was like, that just went really weird. So yeah, that's how I got on this list because it was just really odd the direction it turned. Um, so the 90s by Chuck Klosterman. So this is a nonfiction book about the 90s. Um, so interesting facts about the 90s. I found it kind of boring. Like it was actually really boring. Like I had to speed this up to get through it. Like there were some cool parts. I learned some cool facts about the 90s. Um, I only like really remember like the late 90s because I was born like at the end of like the 80s, like 88. So like I don't really remember the early 90s like at all. But the strange thing for me was that I saw this on in the humor category on Goodreads and I was like, where was the humor in this book? I was like, folks, I didn't read the same book you all did. So if anyone else read this and you saw the humor, please point it out to me. I would love to know how this was in the humor category. Like I don't get it. So confused over here. Okay. So this was another book club pick. I think we've all discovered a pattern by now. Um, so this I had a few problems with this one. The number one ladies detective agency. Uh, so the author, so it's about a Black woman that started a ladies detective agency. The author is a white male, which was kind of weird. And there's like a ton of these books. Um, and so that was just weird that he was writing this series, instead of like an owned voice person, like writing. Like I feel like someone that actually lived this should be writing it uh instead of him. Um, so that was one problem. Um, one of my other biggest problems is that this lady was always complaining about how she just had so many. She's like, I just can't get together. But she's like, no, I'm not interested in this guy. She had like guys. She's like, I'm a big lady. Like, I can't get this. She had like this really nice guy. She's like turning him down multiple times, and I'm like, sister, like, you got a normal guy going after you. Say yes. I have creeps at gas stations following me out to my car. Like, true story here. Just say yes, sister. He was really nice. So that just made me upset. That's just a personal problem. I just have a really bad, weird dating experiences and bad experience with guys. So, we're gonna get off that rant and move on to the next book. So the Noel Diary by Richard Paul Evans. This was so bad. I think this might be one of the worst ones that I have read. Like the worst one I might have read this year. So I listened to the audiobook. I read this because they did a Netflix movie out of it. And the guy Kevin from This Is Us is in it. So I was like so excited to read the book. So I was like, yeah, I'll read the book, then I'll watch the movie. It'll be great. Oh my goodness, this author did so much telling and no showing. I listened to like an hour and a half of the book. The book was only 5 hours, like 5.5 hours long. That hour and a half felt like 50 hours. I had to put it on like 2 times speed. And normally I don't listen to things that fast. To get through it, I was like, this just needs to end. I finished it. It was terrible. It was terribly written. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, just skip this one. Just watch the movie. Although, yeah, I don't know. It's bad. Okay, so this is a book club pick. It sound cool-ish, like Price of Time. They come up with like this formula that stops them from aging, and then suddenly they just start dying. Um, like they can be like, I don't know how, like they just start dying. And just like the plots, like the how they start dying, it was just weird. It was just super weird. Um, and like they're supposed to keep like a low profile and things, and like suddenly like some of them are running for like a public office, and it just took some weird turns. And there's like a sequel or like a something else, and like just read the synopsis online. It will be enough for you. Just read the synopsis. It's one of the strangest ones I've ever read. Okay. Need a brief for this one. So, Running the Books: The Adventures of an Accidental Prison Librarian by Avi Steinberg. So, folks, this person has already lied to you in the title of his book. He is not a librarian. Sorry. I said I wasn't gonna get too riled up. This is the one where I was thinking I was gonna get really riled up. So he's not a librarian, and here's why. He applied for a job to work in a prison library, but to be a librarian, you must have a master's in library science. He does not hold one of those. So he is a library page. That is what his job is at this library. He's a library page. He's not a librarian. He doesn't look as cool on the title of the book, but he is a library page. He's not a librarian. So, just to get that off, he's not a librarian. The cover looks really cool, which is why I picked it up. But other than that, that's my first rant. But yeah, the writing was just terrible. It was all over the place. Um, yeah, it was just not a good book. Besides my personal annoyance at the fact that he's calling himself a librarian. Um, yeah, the story was just all over the place. Like there was stuff that I felt like he should have expanded on, and there was other stuff I'm like, why are we spending so much time on this? Yeah, it was just crazy. It was just a strange book. Just skip past this one. Um, just move along. Okay, and then The Silent Patient. I know a lot of people like this book. I did not. This was strangely also a book club pick. I was going along with this one fine. Um, the ending. It's not possible. How it ended was not possible. Um, she could not have done what she did. Like, just his whole motive, like, he was just being an idiot. Like, no, it was just dumb. It was just really, really dumb. Um, he's not sane. Let's just, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just really did not like this one. It really bothered me on multiple levels. Um, so yeah, should have just not. Just don't. Just don't. So yeah, that was the last one. So we'll end on that note. Um, so thank you so much um for joining me on my worst books of 2022. I'm sorry for some of the rants that I went on. Um, sometimes I just get really passionate about how much I dislike books. But if you tune in or have watched, I'm not sure when or what order I'll be uploading them, my best and worst books of 2022. But that one will be glowing and very, very happy. So at least you'll get the positive side of me as well. So just want to say, remember who you are and where you live, and I'll see you in my next one.